Hello, my name is Michael Bartlett, Master Metaphysical Astrologer, and I welcome you to my August 2024 astrological forecast. So, what are you going to get from this video today? You are going to get an explanation of the relationships the planets are sharing for the month of August. There will be a timestamp by date for the astrological activity, meaning you can zoom ahead to whatever section you want to see by the date and astrological alignment for the month. The lunar cycles are not included because I feel there are a lot of other astrologers who are covering the lunar cycles. I will include them when they are significant, like we have something this month that's going on that's fairly significant, and when eclipses happen, like what will be happening in September. And of course, the movement of the planets for the month, where they're going to be located. Please note that the dates and times are approximate. I am here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and so my dates and times are really here for the United States. Please adjust wherever you are on the planet. I use what's called a fourth harmonic forecast, meaning that I use the aspects that are divisible by four from the 360-degree wheel, meaning the conjunction, the opposition, and the square. These are usually the types of aspects that give us trouble and make us have to pay attention or make an adjustment along the way. I want to thank Christine Cianci for her beautiful artwork on Astro Theater. She hand painted all of the figures that you'll be seeing today and that I use each month and put together the designs for the houses or the stages where they're located as well. So you can reach her at www.com. This is going to be an intense month. Mercury goes retrograde, finally in opposition, 3 new births. And watch out for August 19th. That's going to be a whammy of a day where we're going to have 2 T-squares. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So on the 2nd of August, we begin the month with a square between Uranus in Taurus and Venus in Leo. This is an opening square. We call this a crisis in action. So whatever was seated around for you around the 19th of May of this year is coming around for a reevaluation, deciding whether things are right. So this might have to do with your relationships. This might have to do with work that you're doing, your creative plans, some sort of a big venture you were planning on doing. And it's just really, I like to think of the first quarter square as being a 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's very cautionary. We really want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. So whatever was going on for you on the 19th of May this year, this is going to be a revisiting of that theme. On the 4th of August, we have Venus leaving the sign of Leo, is right at that last few degrees, and moving into the sign of Virgo to meet up with her brother Hermes or Mercury. So this is going to be changing the dynamic of Venus. The values are going to be changing from seeing what I can do and how I can be seen and getting down into the nitty gritty and getting work done and communicating about it because Mercury is there as well. On the 4th of August, that Mercury is going to be going retrograde in its ruling sign of Virgo. So this is the time when we want to kind of be stepping back and reviewing things. For those of you who are born with retrograde Mercury in your natal charts, this is going to just feel like normal to you. You're going to feel actually better and you're going to wonder why other people are complaining about it. But for the vast majority of us who were not born with Mercury retrograde, this is going to be really kind of affecting the ways in which our work is getting done, the way we're communicating. Emails might go missing. What happened just the other day with the big airline issue with the system crashing and planes all around the world having a bit of an issue. It's just take a little bit of time. If you're traveling on the 4th of August, just make sure that you know that things are going to take a little bit longer. This is going to be a Sunday, fortunately, but a lot of people do like to travel on Sunday. So just realize that things may just fall a bit out of sorts. And the key word when we talk about the retrograde is RE. Words that begin with RE, like rest, rejuvenate, recuperate, review, reconsider. Those sorts of things are really important. On the 7th of August, Mercury is going to be retrograding all the way back to be able to hit Venus. So it's going to be a Venus-Mercury conjunction. When Venus and Mercury are together, this is what we call loving communication. And when they are in the sign of Virgo, this is loving communication about the work that needs to get done, details that need to be attended to, and making sure that things are being perfected. Not perfect, but perfected. It's really kind of important when we look at it that way. It's a very different viewpoint. On the 14th of August, we have yet another conjunction. We have Mars and Jupiter in the sign of Gemini, the other sign that Mercury rules. This is a new birth. These are new opportunities for seeing things and new engagement, so to speak. So when it comes to Mercury and Venus, they've already passed once because Mercury is now going retrograde. So we know that this is already a second pass for this time of meeting with one another. So they're reviewing things and considering them. Whereas Mars and Jupiter are creating a new relationship. This happens roughly every 2 years. This is about the ways in which we deal with our philosophies, our ideas, our beliefs, the ways in which we make ourselves bigger and think larger than ourselves, and the ways in which we have our drive through Mars and developing the desire nature and going after the things we want. In Gemini, neither Jupiter nor Mars are very good in Gemini because Gemini is just, there's a lot going on with Gemini, and Mars likes to be a lot more focused. Jupiter doesn't have as much of an issue with it, but just watch out for a lot of starting a bunch of projects and maybe not finishing them and looking around and seeing the things that you need to take care of. But this is a new birthing time and a new relationship for how Jupiter and Mars are getting along with one another. So see, might be time to deal something with your car or the ways you go around doing things, or maybe even your tires need to be replaced. On the 14th of August, we have Mercury leaving its rulership sign of Virgo, retrograding back into the sign of Leo. This is going to be a good time to review maybe some of your creative pursuits, the ways you're expressing yourself, the way you're being seen out in the world. Maybe you need to make some adjustments on that, review things. And also the other thing that I really like to think about with Leo is play. And with Mercury there, this is a really good time for rest and play. The 14th of August, we're still in the summertime. So if you have a vacation time coming up or holiday time, this would be a good day to kind of just enjoy yourself and just, yeah, play, have fun, do watercolors, play in the mud, do a fire walk, play with fireworks if you're in a place where it's safe to do that. On the 15th of August, we have an opening square happening between Saturn in Pisces and Mars in Gemini. They were together back on the 30th of April, 2024. So whatever was going on for you around that time, this is going to be a new revisualization. As we talked about a few moments ago with the other opening square, this is a crisis in action. So this is about trying to decide whether the decision that was made back around the 30th of April is the decision you want to keep going forward. Saturn being in the mutable sign of Pisces gives a little bit more of an opportunity to make adjustments so they work better for you. And I believe that with Mercury in the mutable sign of Gemini as well, this is really what these two are about. So make the adjustments that are needed and then move forward. Another opening square on the 18th of August between Uranus and Mercury. Whew. So whatever was going on for you around June 1st, this is going to be a reactivation again of this. This is going to be a time period of looking at getting really flashes of insight. This also can be surprise communications. It could be real flashes of insight about how you're going about doing your creative work or how you're expressing yourself in the world or how you're even being seen. Maybe it's time you want to adjust. Maybe you want to do a haircut, or maybe you're getting a haircut on the 18th of August and the scissors slip and a lot of hair gets cut off. That could be kind of something that's been done here, but actually really more probably likely to be issues around, because of course Mercury is still retrograde at this point. So these are going to be maybe appointments that are confused or missed and having to be rescheduled and reworked out and something like that. So that's kind of probably how that would show up. On the 18th of August, we have the Sun and Mercury going conjunct, with Mercury going retrograde into the Sun. This is considered a cazimi. So this can be where the Sun basically obliterates the ways in which we communicate and the ways we move. The Sun is in its rulership of Leo. So this can be a really great time to communicate, to launch things. Again, this is another new birth, but this is a second pass with Mercury going across the Sun. It'll come back over it again when it goes into its forward motion. So this could be really reviewing your website, reviewing your catalog of work. How are you being seen? How's your website looking? How are people perceiving you? Maybe you need to make some adjustments and changes. 19th of August, we have two T-squares. So first at 17 degrees, we have Saturn in Pisces opposing Venus in Virgo, both of these squaring Jupiter in Gemini. We call this a T-square. These are very challenging aspects. These require significant adjustment, I would say. And the end point with this is 17 degrees of Sagittarius. So if you have anything around 17 degrees of Sagittarius, just realize you're going to be feeling a lot of pressure from these planets. Also, if you have 17 degrees of any of the mutable signs of Pisces, Gemini, and Virgo, you're also going to be feeling this pressure, so to speak. This is about stabilizing, expanding, and valuing. So, however, those play out in your own personal chart is really key. But I like to say is whenever any current aspect happens and however it's aspecting your chart, however those planets are in your birth chart, meaning like if you have a Venus Jupiter trine between the two of them, then when you experience by transit and progression Jupiter and Venus squares, it's not as hard for you because you actually have kind of a good working relationship with these two planets to begin with. Whereas with this is really kind of an adjustment, right? We have the two benefics, Jupiter and Venus, squaring one another, saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we should lay off the sweets. Maybe we need to do a little bit more exercise. Maybe we need to go join the gym. And Saturn over there in Pisces is kind of agreeing with them and saying, yeah, you know, it's kind of like the party time's a little bit over. You guys have been enjoying too much sugar. It's kind of time to back off a little bit. Might be a little bit of the energies around this time of the 19th of August. And then on that same day, we have an additional T square. We have Uranus in the sign of Taurus and squaring the sun, and opposing from the sun is going to be the moon in Aquarius. As you know, I don't usually cover the moon, but since this is a T square, I think it's really kind of important. It's not going to last very long. It's just going to be lasting a few hours on the 19th of August, but the out point is going to be 27 degrees of Scorpio. So if you have any planets around 25 to 30 degrees of the fixed signs, meaning Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, you're going to be feeling this pressure and going to be adjusting it. With it being Uranus and Sun, it's going to be saying, hey, you know, let's break out. What do we need to do? What do we need to change? What do we need to adjust? And with the moon in there, it can be something emotional. And especially because that endpoint comes out through Scorpio, just be careful about what might come out of the situation. Because with Uranus involved, almost anything's possible. On the 22nd of August, we have the sun moving out of its rulership of Leo and moving back into the sign of Virgo, which it does once a year around this time. So this is our indication that fall is on its way, and this is about perfecting and making things better. The French call it garde-manger. The harvest time is usually this time where you basically take stock of everything you have and you realize what you need to can, what you need to dry, what other things you need to do so you can make it through the winter. So this is what's going on here in the Northern Hemisphere. On the 22nd of August, we have yet another first quarter square that are going on, this time between the divine complement of Mars and the feminine aspect of Venus, Mars in Gemini, Venus in Virgo. Neither one of these, again, are really too happy in this place. Venus isn't all that happy in Virgo, although she, you know, she'll do it. She has to do work. She doesn't really like to have to do that if she doesn't want to. Mars doesn't really mind getting into his Ferrari and jetting off however he needs to go or wherever, but that's, you know, kind of what's going on. On the 22nd of August is going to be a first quarter square. So there's going to be something that happens a few times through the year. So this is going to be adjusting maybe the ways in which you go about moving things and getting things done, the ways you're valuing things, and that is still also bearing in with that Venus. In between Neptune and Saturn and Pisces is the point that is opposite where that Venus is going to be in. So it's almost creating another one of these T squares. So just want to be aware of that on the 22nd of August too. That this is going to be a little bit of a tension. From the 19th to the 22nd, it's going to be a little bit tense, as is really, to be honest, the whole month. So at 21 degrees is that point where Venus and Mars are going to be. And so at 21 degrees Pisces, which is right in the middle of where Saturn and Neptune are in Pisces, is really kind of that key point there. So on the 28th of August, we have an opposition between Venus and Neptune. Back around the 28th of April, when Venus was conjunct Neptune in Pisces, they were conjunct. And so whatever it was that was going on around this 4 months ago is going to be up for review and full presentation. So it might be something that have to do with your dreams, creative aspects, spirituality, your work, your daily routines, and possibly even the ways in which you are structuring and valuing your relationship to something larger than yourself. On the 29th of August, Venus finally leaves the sign of Virgo and moves into her happy place, her rulership of Libra. So this is a really beautiful time, of course. She loves being in Libra. This is about harmony and relationships and doing the right thing and finding the right harmonics and balance between people and situations and trying to find things and make things prettier than they were before. That's what one of Libra's desires. And that is the month of August. I want to thank you for joining me today. Please like, please share with your friends. If you would like to leave comments or ask questions, please do. I want to thank you for joining me this month, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. And good luck this month. If you need me, I am here. Bye-bye.